So I've been fixing the tractor up over the last few weeks. First thing I did was swap the rear end out for the one out of this little car I built. It's not being used, so sometimes I borrow parts off of it. This whole rear frame section and transaxle, that's all off of one of these tractors. It was a 7-horse, this one's an 8-horse, but they were the same thing as far as that goes. Well, when I first got this tractor going, this side, the left side, had some play in the axle tube, I guess the bushing in there, and the one out of this car didn't. It had a lot less use on it. So put that in there. Well, they give you this open space between the hub and the end of the housing there, and I wanted to try to help it out a little bit, so I just got some of these like the 4-bolt flange bearing, and I mounted it in that space, and I just plated it up to the side of the frame, and the plates are slotted, so the rear end just slides in and out like it did stock. This side was a little more difficult because the brakes right there. But yeah, hopefully that'll give it some help. You know, it's not bulletproof by any means. You know, it's got almost a 5-inch taller tire that actually digs in. You know, that doesn't help out. It's got 40 pounds of weight off of each one. Probably the big one is the wheel adapters and how far those space it away. You know, that adds a lot of leverage that it wasn't designed for. So hopefully, you know, that'll help out with that. So then the second thing I wanted to do, when I first built the loader, I went to try to pop a little stump out of the ground. It wasn't very big, and I couldn't see it by having it in the middle of the bucket, so I drove up to it, you know, over here in the corner so I could lean over and see what I was doing. Well, when I put the pressure up on it, immediately noticed in the footboards that one of them dropped, and it felt weird, and that you could just, you know, you could feel the tractor was flexing. So, you know, that was the only time I tried to do something like that with it, and I just tried to keep everything centered, you know, in the bucket, but there's only so much you can do. So I built this I don't know, subframe or lower frame, I'm not sure. It bolts to the bottom of the loader, and it ties the frame together underneath. So, you know, this section of frame here is probably pretty resistant to twisting. You know, it's bolted with a wide footprint to that 3/16 tubing that's pretty stiff. You know, it's got the motor plate that runs in between the two frame rails. It's got the bumper here. Back here, it's probably not too bad. It uses the strength of the cast iron housing of the rear end. You know, and it's a big stamped piece of 3/16 or something like that. But the section here in the middle doesn't really have a lot of support. There's no cross members or anything. It's just the two rails. And I wanted to show you a before and after. So I'm going to push on this loader, and you can really see it. I don't know, maybe I should set you up on the tripod. Alright, watch this gap in here when I rock that loader. Yeah, so it's getting a lot of flex in that middle section. You know, I don't use the tractor very hard, but even with that being said, I'm worried that over the years, you know, that'll form cracks or something underneath the sheet metal that I won't see. And yeah, so anyways, let me try to get this thing bolted up, and we'll see the difference. Alright, I got it kind of hanging in there by the center bolts. You can see how it runs front to back. I got to get all the rest of the hardware in, and these brackets here for the back. I wanted to paint that red, the same color as the loader, but I didn't have any left, and it's expensive, and it's kind of a drive to go get it. I have a lot of the machine gray that I ended up painting it with, and the front wheels are actually machine gray already. I had some front end issues over the summer. I ended up changing a bunch of stuff on the front, and the front wheels ended up being machine gray. I have a lot of it, so that's why it ended up that color. So yeah, let me try to get these rest of these bolts in here, and we'll see the difference it makes. Alright, I got 8 of the bolts in it to hold it up into place. You can see in the back here I have that heavy plate on the side, and that kind of ties in with the gussets I ran for the extended bearing there. So now we got to put the brackets on. So these are 3/8 by 2 inch. This is 1/4 inch, and this is 3/16, I think. It's all 1/2 inch 20 hardware. I think it's stainless, maybe? I don't know. I just painted this thing the other day, and I kind of coated it pretty heavy. The stuff inside the holes is still actually kind of tacky, so and after I use it for a while, I'll go through and check all these bolts. If I need to Loctite them, I can always pull them out and Loctite them. Alright, those are all started. Alright, this side's a little different. I had to have clearance for the brakes, but it basically does the same thing. Well, definitely wanted to have these removable so you could slide this in and out without having to take the brakes off. It's kind of tight in that area. Plus it would just makes getting it in and out of there so much easier, being that these aren't welded. So let me get all these in and I'll tighten it down and we'll check it out. Alright, everything's bolted up, tightened down. You can kind of see how I ran the cross members, the one in the back right here. There's one about in the center. That ties into the factory, something to do with the lift handle. There's some brackets there that were already welded to the frame. And the front cross member I stood up because I had room. I guess the middle one I would have had room to stand up to, but it just bolts into the bottom of that frame. So yeah, let's see what kind of difference that made. It's a lot better. It's hard to show on camera, but it's actually, when you rock it like that now, it transfers it to the tires. You can see the tires squish now. So yeah, looks good under there. Yeah, so hopefully those are sound modifications to help make this thing last. I guess probably the biggest key is just try not to be too hard on the tractor, you know, if you're going to do something like this. It's not that it's a weak frame designed for, you know, a 36-inch mower deck, little turf tires just cutting your grass, but that loader, that's asking a lot from a little tractor. So yeah, I did want to redo the weight bar while I was working on it, but just kind of ran out of time. So the hitch is too high anyways. All my yard lawn sweeper and little yard trailer, it sets up too high for them. So that'll be the next project down the road. Redo the hitch, maybe get some more weight. I don't know, I want to try it. Try it out for a while. You know, this frame down here, that's pretty heavy itself. I know it's not hanging behind, but it's a lot of weight down low, so maybe it'll help. All right. Hope you guys like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.